right, hey Chris, we are here with yet another update for Noble Fates. What are we doing this time?
We are making a video game.
Well,
oh, you mean in the game?
We did a bunch of work to update it so the players would like it even more.
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah. So, let's see. It's been a little while, and so what happened was, we've got eight of these that we've been planning on doing, and we kind of hit the point where, our intro had kind of, people had seen the intro enough. And so we felt like it was time to kind of, we've added enough systems. It was time to open it up a bit and give you some more choices as you go into the game. And then once you're in the game, and then some longevity to kind of capitalize on some of those systems. And so this is the Choose Your Fate update. And so it actually started as an initiative to open up the oh my god,
is someone yodeling?
They're yodeling. Oh, look at these yodeling effects.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, in this happy house, and yep, she's going for a while. Oh, she's milking the cow. Okay. And yeah, so we started this initiative called Choose Your Fate, where we wanted to expand on the options. We think it's important to provide as many to treat Noble Fates as a sandbox where as many players as possible can have the experience they want to have. And so we started that initiative by adding a bunch of settings, which we'll see here in a second. And then it culminated in the feature update, which we launched today, that includes a lot of stuff that we're going to run through.
Choose Your Fate, right?
Choose Your Fate.
So you get to have a fully customized starting experience instead of the one that we kind of forced you through before. But you can still do that one. Don't worry. But
Step one exactly. Step one was to flesh that out. And in fact, we ought to start by clicking New Game just to look at this little screen. So this is what you get when you click New Game now, and this is all part of the Choose Your Fate initiative. And so we have 4 kind of experiences that we offer out of the box. And if you click on one of those, click on medium, the default, and then choose customize. So you can actually customize. And so some of these settings were, back before Choose Your Fate initiative were available once you were in game. But now you can kind of start with a preset and then choose what you want it to be. And then what's really cool is change one of these if you want something in here.
Lots of rabbit animals.
Yeah, good. And then go back. And so it'll save that, and it'll show you that it's customized. And so now, if that's your preferred way of playing, every time you start a new game, that will be the default settings. And then you can clear those by clicking on medium again.
Discard.
Yep.
And is this the best region name that you've ever heard? Because it's pretty good, I think.
I think it is pretty good, yeah. And so that's also a change for this update. So instead of now that you can continue on past one kingdom, we now name your saves after the region, and so that's where you're going to define your save name. And then down bottom, you choose your scenario. So if it's your first time playing, I would start with Heavy as the Crown. That's the old scenario. That's the guided experience. It kind of gives you guardrails to help you get up and running. And then Choose Your Fate is meant to be the path for replayability and starting a new world in which you want to kind of just see which origin story you get and dive in there.
So my question is, what should we start with?
Let's choose your fate.
Let's
do it.
Choose our fate.
Yes.
Oh wait, I just want to make sure. Okay, medium default. Okay, that's good.
That's good.
All right. Oh, hey, look, we got a new little loading image. Although,
we got a loading image.
Uh-oh, our little person's missing in our image here, though.
So they move around. Sometimes they're there, and sometimes they're not. So these people are sometimes on the right, and now they're on the left this time. So every time it goes through here, you get a different view.
This actually works really well. I'm glad the shadows are match up so well.
Part of the people.
What is this?
Yeah, this is the living world. And so, when you choose,
I can move this around.
Yeah, when you choose Your Fate, you get kind of this globe view or world view, kind of like a map. And then it's living. So if you zoom in, first of all, actually, if you zoom back out real quick, so these are the kingdoms that are in this world. So still when you start the game, we simulate 30 years or so of history, and if you want to pause real quick, just so we can look through a little information. Pick one of these rulers that looks interesting to you and zoom down to them.
Definitely, we'll look at Bush here. Tsar Bush.
Okay, yeah, perfect. So Bush Pike. So that's a change. So everybody gets a surname now, because everybody is part of a family. And looks like these guys are in a number of wars, which is interesting. And they actually, as part of the Choose Your Fate initiative, we also we took a system that existed previously. So all the AI rulers in your world would choose a set of principles that guided their actions, and we made that available to the players via beliefs, and so you can kind of choose the guiding principles for your kingdom. And so the AI kingdoms still choose them as well, and they adhere a little more to them. But that's the list right there above those wars.
Gotcha.
And
they're evil. They're raw. What is a robble?
Yeah, robble. That is a That's a section, a subsect of cannibals that only eat raw humanoid meat, and so.
So they like the tartare of the human meat.
That's right. Yeah,
Who doesn't,
yeah.
though,
Maybe
right?
they might go as far as to have a slight sear on it, but yeah, they prefer some sashimi and some tartare, ceviche maybe, and yeah. So.
Now.
We can see here why they're in 4 wars right now, because they're evil and they're robbles. And so then the other interesting thing is there's this little family tree button over there you can click on now.
Ooh.
So if we click on this is the Pike family tree. And so Bush Pike is the current ruler of the Lore Tamers.
The Lore Tamers, that's right.
Yeah, if you go up to Zippy above, I bet they were Oh no, they were the ruler.
Good farmers.
The good farmers. So they were a different kingdom, and so it looks like Bush, at some point, Bush didn't want to be a good farmer. Decided they wanted to be evil and eat raw apples, and moved away.
This is pretty crazy too. So if I look at the bottom, it says at war with the Lore Tamers, and here they are at war with the good farmers. So that means Bush is actually fighting his dad in a war right now.
Yeah, and what's actually interesting there, so you can see the little gravestone on Zippy. So Zippy's actually dead. I don't know who the ruler is of the good farmers. So if you go to the right to Kook, it looks like Kook is somewhere else. I don't know. Is Gloom? Hover over Gloom.
Gloom Wanderers.
Yeah, so Gloom isn't a member of them either. So we'll have to go out to the map to see. But actually, if you go real quick up to Orange as well and hover over them.
Oh, yeah.
They were a noble in the Good Farmers. So it looks like Zippy kind of rose. So Orange wasn't the ruler of the Good Farmers. And through whatever, happened, looks like whoever the ruler was of the Orange Farmers didn't secure an heir. And so Zippy rose through the ranks via power or prestige and took over. But Zippy passed away, and it looks like they didn't have a good heir either, because Bush left and then Gloom left as well. And so if we go and find the farmers on the map, the good farmers on the map, we can see who their ruler is.
Let's see.
Probably an orc kingdom.
That would make sense. Lore Tamers, Super Irons, good farmers.
Is it up top?
There we are.
Oh wow, a dwarf ruler.
Okay.
I mean, they are the good farmers, So yeah. So Helka Clapgold ended up taking over, and I think one thing I would like to add at some point is the ability to hop. So you can view up and down through the family trees, and something that someone suggested was being able to navigate forward and backwards through rulers as well, to see kind of who inherited the title from each other. But yeah.
Who are all these people in this circle here?
Yeah, so those are all the nobles of that kingdom, and so those people are all following Helka right now. And yeah, they, all of them also have histories. So if you click on one of them uh, and click on their family tree, yeah, and you can trace it backwards. And I like to click around. Sometimes you'll find one that's like, 3, 4, 5, 6 generations.
We
Usually
also
the
didn't
orcs.
simulate the world very much yet, if we wanted to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and it's also worth noting that yeah, go ahead and let it run for a while. So orcs, as of this update, live about 2/3 as long as humans, and so dwarves were 1.5x humans, elves were 2x humans, and we wanted orcs to be less, so that we'd get kind of a good, interesting balance. But yeah, so this is the living world. So you can let time fly. You get a year every couple of seconds, and so it's a good way to let time pass. But at any time, you can pause and zoom in, look at the parties that are running around, and examine some of the people. And
I'm just clicking around.
Yeah, it's good.
I've noticed as time's been passing, pretending like I don't already know what this is, but I get these little like moments where light is shining on people. Why is that?
Yeah, so those are origins. So one of the things that we wanted to do was offer up kind of these emergent origin stories for little groups within your world. And so previously, we had the one intro. It was always these people that defected from a kingdom. And now we offer up kind of these origin stories. There's a few different ones, and then they're seeded from people in the world. And then there's also, if you look, there's also biome icons. And if you click on one of those, you can actually create your own origin story, a completely custom one at those spots.
Cool. Oh, and you can also just swap homes too. Like that.
Yeah, you can just find new ones. Like if you don't want an arid biome. So that's actually another part of this update. So we introduced new biomes. So we have previously we had sort of a mountain biome as of the adventure update, but it was kind of more of a hilly biome. But this time we kind of dove in and fleshed it out to be a livable biome. So it's the mountain biome. It's a good place for dwarves to live. It's a little cooler, more stone, higher up in the mountains. And then we also took the arid biome, which also was a place you could go during the adventure update, and fleshed it out and made it livable as well via the kind of fleshing out the terraforming system and stuff.
And just for everybody watching, so there's a bunch of people like moving around on the map right now. Like, who are they? What are they doing?
Yeah, so when you're playing a game, you get all these wanderers and envoys and things like that come to your kingdom. So this is always happening, even when you're playing on your map and building up your kingdom and stuff. This simulation is always running in the background. It's running much slower, but these are the same parties, the same algorithm, the same everything that's running behind the scenes when you're playing your kingdom.
When I have my kingdom, let's say once we jumped in, like if I get a group of wanderers, like Ronnie here, that when they reach my kingdom, they'd actually show up as people in my world, right?
Yeah, exactly. Cool. And they, when they leave your map, they continue to simulate and they go visit the other kingdoms. And if they like them, they'll join them. And they'll, if someone wants to desert from that kingdom, they'll join the wandering party. And so we kind of, we wanted to have a way to see into the simulation that's happening and kind of let some time go by. So there's actually something interesting there. If you go back to Mabel's family tree. So Mabel was unfortunately illegitimate. And so if you double click on Mabel, or I guess single click if she's already highlighted. So Mabel was born out of wedlock. So Dawn up here, if you hover over Mabel, it'll tell you who her parents are.
Oh, yep.
So Dawn, and then her mother is unknown. So Dawn fathered her with someone, and so she's not, since her parents weren't married, she doesn't carry on Dawn's the Frostnot family name. And so what happens instead is when she comes of age, when she becomes an adult, she chooses her own name and starts her own family. And so, she is a little bit more legitimate in terms of inheriting the crown. Like if she was in Dawn's kingdom, she would inherit the crown over a nobody, but she won't carry on his family name, and so she'll start her own family. And if you hover over Dawn, he may have been the ruler. He was the ruler prior to her. Dawn did not have a legitimate heir. If you go down, you'll see all of Dawn's children were illegitimate, probably the same unknown mother. Perhaps
is that
they
what
were.
This icon is right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So outside of wedlock. Yeah. And so he had no legitimate children. And so when it came time for a new ruler of that kingdom, I can't see the name of it. But when it came time for a new ruler, Mabel inherited it, and she's carrying on her own family now.
Cool. And unfortunately, it looks like Mabel's family member or siblings are not alive anymore, I think.
Yeah, they probably, maybe they fought her for the crown, or maybe they went and did their own thing, and it didn't work out good for them.
This is so cool, by the way. So people may have noticed this already, but the cause of their death is also recorded. So Shaq here, so sad about Shaq, killed by someone named Kindle. And Michelle was killed by someone by Kel. So if we ever run into, if Mabel runs into those people, maybe we can get revenge at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's all logged for people in your kingdom and your family tree and stuff like that as well. And this is just the beginning. Like, we want to flesh out more of kind of this backstory and the story that happens out of your kingdom as you play. And so, this is kind of, I like coming here and starting from Choose Your Fate from the living world, because it gives you kind of more insight into what's happening. And I like to get to know these kingdoms a little bit before I dive in. So let's pick a start.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. There's a From Nothing one here, and then maybe let's from Wealth Origin here.
Yeah, let's wait for one, maybe like a Settlers or a Guardian one. I like the Guardian one.
Oh, we got a Guardian already.
Yeah, perfect. So if you click on that and then click on Guardian Origin, so this is so this might seem familiar if you had gone through the previous intro before. This is kind of based on that. We wanted to have kind of a little bit of a similar flow. But basically, you just dive right to the selection screen, and you get your backstory up top. It looks like, if you want to read it,
Nami rescued Odian from Eldar Elavina's abuse. They barely escape with their lives. Build up and defend them from the zipping irons.
Yeah, so this is kind of a Guardian story. So these two are unrelated. So Nami's last name is Rise, and Odian's is something. Omranris.
Omranris.
Omranris. It's a mouthful is what it is. And if you click on her family icon underneath her, yeah, so here is, oh, wow, Nami had a few spouses, first of all. So Nami had an illegitimate child, but also Nami has gone through a few spouses.
Would we say Nami's quite the widower?
She is, and how long was she married to each other? One of them was an orc. The first one was an orc.
Interesting.
So through 357 or 367, I can't read it.
Yes. Born 384, died 397.
Oh, 397. Yeah. So if you go to the next one, that was probably 397. Oh, so it was just the year of weddings. Next one. So it's left to right will be chronologically. 410. Okay, there was a time skip. Okay, so she was married to them maybe for a while, and then 411. So, they don't always last for a while, but when she's married, often,
One thing,
I guess.
That's kind of interesting to call out here too. We called out 384 versus 397. And something that's kind of cool that Chris already talked about is different species in Noble Fates basically have different biological ages. So the orc here was 20, biologically 20 at the time of death, but some of the elves are actually biologically not as old at time of death, even though a larger chronological time span elapsed.
Yeah, that's right. And it was we used to display the chronological age of everybody, and it was kind of hard to know actually how far along you were in someone's life story, because you would have an elf and you're like, how old is 80 for an elf? And so what we did was we normalized around a biological age instead for everybody. And so we display their biological age, and then on their character sheet, if you hover over it, you'll get their chronological age. And so you're right. An orc will be 20 after 12 or 13 or so years, chronological years, whereas an elf takes 26 of those, or 36 of those to become 18. And so, yeah. And then looks like she also had an illegitimate child that also passed away, unfortunately. And so Nami had a bit of a rough story.
Everyone is dead.
How old is Nami?
Nami is biologically 48, but chronologically much older.
Yeah, so she's getting up there. So anyway, she has seen some stuff, and then if we close this and go look at the other family story here, the family tree for Odienne. So Odienne has unknown parents. So she's part of the Omranris family. So it means, we don't really know everybody's parentage and everything. We have a limited simulation because we go into depth for the characters that we do have. And so the approach we take to fleshing out the tree is surfacing the people that are interesting to the story when they become interesting to the story. And so that does mean that, Odienne's parents may become interesting to the story at some point later and show up. It's sort of like a TV show or, a novel in that way where, like, when you first learn about a character, you don't get their entire family history, at least depending on who's writing the story. But what we do instead is when it becomes relevant for you to know about her parents, they'll be added to the tree and added to the story, and siblings and things like that. You'll learn about them.
Sorry, I'm just clicking around here. This is cool.
Yeah, it's fun to go through. Yeah, so this is a customizing of an origin story. And so this one is seeded based on these two. They came from the zipping irons. You can see on the left side that the zipping irons are your enemy. And so similar to the the old intro and the old story, it means you're going to end up fighting against the zipping irons. So if this was a custom origin, you can actually pick who your enemy is, which is super interesting. Like after you ascend, you can actually, if you play an evil kingdom and you play it to the point where you're satisfied with them, you feel like you've lived out their story, you can ascend, and then you can start a good kingdom in the same world now and choose your former evil kingdom as your enemy, and you'll fight them. So you can kind of, play both sides and go up and down.
Let's see. Should we look at principles?
Yeah. So another thing that's part of the Choose Your Fate initiative is principles. We talked a little bit about those. And so these ones are seeded off of Nami's beliefs. And so Nami feels strongly about elves and being a shield bearer and teetotalers, so they're not going to be drinkers.
I just want to call out a shield in front, party in the back.
That's right. Yeah, I had fun. This is fun writing these.
And so,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Go for it.
I was gonna say you wrote a lot of principles, or I guess we wrote them. But yeah, there are some. Anyways, I love reading all these because they've all got like a little bit of joviality with them, if that's even a word. Don't know.
Yeah, so I feel like it is in the world of Noberia. But so the way the principle system, the belief system works is that when you choose these, we have preaching now. So you probably noticed on the key art, there's like a preacher standing up. And so preaching and the belief system allows you to influence your people's opinions. And so even if you choose elves shall reign supreme, even if someone comes and joins and they don't love elves, they will come to like elves via the new preaching job. and your people will convert them kind of over time to liking that. And so it makes it a little bit easier in the long run to play the kingdom that you want to have, and it's kind of cool because it doubles down on something that I always did and I thought was cool about Noble Fates, which is, you start with kind of these people and the things they like and dislike, and previously it would be once you got up to like 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 people, it was hard to keep track of what they all liked. And like, they kind of all just liked everything. And so you ended up having all the food and all the items and stuff. And this gives you a way to kind of plant some guiding lights for your kingdom and be like, we are going to eat mortals, or we're going to eat animals, or we're not going to drink alcohol, and so it kind of gives you a guide for this kingdom that you rally around. And what's cool is, you as the player can change these anytime you want, and we'll show you the belief system where you can actually like get down into the depths of like really customizing kind of what your people think. But yeah, so this kind of gives you some guiding from up top when you're creating your group. And what's cool is when you choose these principles during the creation of a group. So if you close out of here, and let's say we have those. So if you click that add button, you get to add more people to your story here, and they're going to come in seeded with some of those like beliefs. And so these are people that are either from the existing world or become relevant at this moment in time to the story by virtue of believing those same principles. And so you can add a couple of people here, and then when you're ready, you can. Oh, one other thing you can do now, if you click on one of them, click on Jen. If you click edit, so previously you could edit their appearance. So I think that came online during a previous update, but we fleshed out the mortal editor pretty dramatically as part of the Choose Your Fate update, and you can actually choose how old they are, what their maturity is, what race they are, what variant they are, male or female, what their alignment is, what their traits are, and then what's super cool is if you click over to the next tab, you can choose their skills. And so, if you really want to customize your starting group and you want to make sure you have someone that's good at building and someone that likes hauling and, whatever scenario you kind of want to start out with, you can come in here and customize this group the way you see fit. And so, you can kind of really deck them out. And then if you go even one more tab to the right, there's opinions about everything. And so, if you want to start, our kingdom is going to believe that elves are going to reign supreme. We could start with this, with Jen disliking elves, and so she'll have to be converted over to loving elves, for example, which will be a bit of a hardship at the start. But you can kind of choose, what you want to do, what you want to have, and what your scenario is like here at the start.
And it looks like you have kind of limited resources to spend here too, so you need to. You can't fully just max out everything.
That's right. You have to take away from something to add to something else, which is interesting. You can, if you're choosing one of the easier difficulties, you can choose, you'll have more points in here. And then you can also actually just, when customizing the difficulty, have as many points as you want. So, you can kind of have the experience that you're after. And then, of course, that's the appearance editor that we've had for a bit now, where you can tweak them in here. Oh, some dreadlocks.
Let's see, this might be interesting too to, I don't know, show off some of the maturity stuff too.
Yeah, so if you actually scroll down the biological age, we can see her go backwards in time. So she will become a juvenile. Yeah, she became a juvenile, and then a child. She had, little baby dreads, and then a little baby. And so I like to go back and forth through. What's interesting is some of the decisions, like she'll probably look different when she becomes an adult. The power of the Contra can de-age people and age them, and it turns out that it's an imperfect copy when you re-age them. They don't end up looking identical to the way they looked before. But yeah, so you can kind of, choose exactly how old they are. For your first playthrough, I would not start with a baby. That's difficult because they need to be fed and cared for and need to be indoors, and that's a bit much right at the start. But yeah, you can come in here and customize. And what's cool is, you can make them higher level. Start with whatever story you want to have in here.
Very cool.
And so when you click, whenever you're ready here, so what's cool is you can always go back from here. If you're not quite sure about this group and you want to go back out and look at the world some more, you can go back. Or when you're ready, you click next up top.
All right, I feel ready. Let's do it.
Do it. All right, and so this is a new dialogue. So we talked a bit about biomes before, and we actually implemented seeded maps as well as part of this. And so if you find a map that, a seed that you really like for a forest or for an arid biome or for a mountain or whatever, you can replay that map or share it with other people. And if you don't like the biome here, like if you don't want to start in the mountain, which is a little bit harder, you can just roll up top until you get one that you like. Or you can type whatever you want in the seed thing. The biome, if it starts with the biome name, then it will be that biome. And so, yeah, you can type anything you wanted in there.
Cool. Where should we start? What kind of biome? What do you think?
Let's do mountain.
Okay. This is, I think it's mountains in the winter, by the way, so,
Oh, yeah, this is going to be tough.
We're not going to last very long.
Yeah, perfect. So, yeah, we'll start with these guys, and then we'll go load up a couple saves and look around a little bit. Yeah, see, it's different. They're there this time.
Oh, yeah, look, and we didn't even see this group before, I don't think.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. Yeah, it's like different groups are stopping by. They're all at that fork in the road where they need to decide where they're going to live, All right, so this is the mountainy biome. So, some more stony rocks are protruding, and it's winter. It's not snowy yet, but it will be. Oh, okay.
And so, Odian is a juvenile, I think. Yep.
Oh yeah, cool. Yep. So Odian is and that's the other thing. So we fleshed out the relationship system. So they're not part of the same family, Nami and Odian, but Odian is her ward. And so if you click on Nami and then go to the relationships tab, and her relationship tab is probably quite full from all of her prior marriages, but yeah, the ward is in here. And so they have not a blood relationship, but Nami and Odian have kind of a special relationship that will mean that they care more about each other and also care less about or be less interested in marrying one another.
Let's see, very cool.
And so this group, you kind of flesh them out a little bit. They're a little bit longer in the tooth and have some levels, and so you got some better starting gear to start here with, and to help kind of seed your story and get you going. And so this would be where you would kind of take off in the mountain biome. Eventually that kingdom that we chose as our enemy, or that our origin story chose for us, would stop by and fight with us. But let's jump a little bit further along and load up one of the other saves.
Sounds good. All right, the frothing wear chain.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, these two or these three. Yeah, so they're at the fork in the road. They could go to the forest or to the mountain, and the preacher's here to help them.
Or they could be cannibals or vegetarians,
That's true. Yeah, it is.
Ooh,
it's a hard choice.
This is a cool defensive wall. I like this.
Yeah, so this was kind of my Elven Kingdom that I built when I was testing out all the features, and just got it set up, built the defensive wall, and I think I was playing this one on hard, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So this one was actually a Guardian story as well. So this is a Guardian story that's quite a bit further along. So Zidane and Chris are my Guardian and ward. And so Zidane has married, Zidane found a wife, Tivana, and Tivana joined Zidane's family tree. So if you click on her little family icon in the upper right of her character sheet, ta-da! So what's cool is you get to drive this once you start playing, right? So we showed it from the perspective of the future fate in the living world, but this actually is the result of my actions. So Zidane was my ruler that I chose. Tavana married Zidane. Tavana was not one of our original people. We recruited her. Looks like Theodore is part of an enemy group. That's why they have a red name. So they're probably part of the kingdom that Chris and Zidane defected from. And you can see I didn't run a long history here. So one interesting thing is the elves live a long time. They live twice as long. And so if you want a deeper elven family tree, you're going to want to let your living world run for a little while.
And that was
so you get a bit
when we were out there
backstory.
letting those clouds fly past really fast.
Exactly. Yeah, you can let it. So a year goes by every, I think it's like every 5 seconds or something. So, just let 50 years go by and you'll get a couple of generations of elves as well. And so if you close out of here, we can check out my family. So Chris actually grew up. So Chris was my ward.
Oh,
and
cool.
and this is what's so interesting about the biological age. So Zidane actually hasn't aged much since we moved in here, but Chris is a human. So Chris is going to age twice as fast. Eventually, Chris will catch up and pass Zidane in age. But Chris is now 19. Chris has a couple of levels under his belt, and he spent a lot of time learning and earned some traits.
Just like the real Chris.
That's right, which we'll talk about here in a few. And then, so Karen actually joined this group at some point along the way, and her and Chris fell in love, and so they were just recently married. And so they're working on starting a family of their own. And in fact, if you hover over Karen up top, it looks like she has a status effect on her portrait up top.
Oh, yes, right. Oh, yes, indeed.
And so both Karen and Tavana are pregnant. And so we have two children that we're expecting as part of this kingdom.
My goodness.
So we're just going to clean this bedroom. And so let's give them a crib maybe, so that they're ready for when their baby comes.
So, yeah, look, we have a whole new category of furniture here. Cribs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and so cribs are interesting. So they're a little bit more difficult to build, and that's because I don't know if you've ever tried to build a crib, but they're kind of complex, and they actually offer higher return in sleep quality, which is good for babies.
That's a good little spot for a crib.
Perfect. Just don't watch your feet when you're walking around that crib.
Yeah, it's a little spiky right there. Let's see. I'll have. I wonder who's a good builder. I might wake someone up in the middle of the night to have them build that.
I think Chris might actually be the builder.
Oh.
I think Zidane is actually a good builder as well. It's like they don't know that one.
I just feel like pregnancy is imminent, and we really need that crib.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
So while he's learning this, let's take a look at the room to the right, and then back to your right there. Yeah.
Oh.
What's going on in here, Matt?
This looks like just a boundless fountain of knowledge right here. So these are a way now for your nobles to learn from one another. And Chris has built a really cool system where you basically can bank your knowledge. So if you learn up to a certain level, you're able to start producing books and works up to that level. So this is a T1 crafting book set, and I think we do actually have all tiers in here. This is cool. So this is a T1, this is a T2, this is a T3, and this is a T4 here. But basically, you can pass on your knowledge to the next generation, and it gives like a new person a boost, or a child a boost, even as they're developing and learning.
Yeah, that's right. And so we had a very thin kind of training system before that was just there for the training dummies. And so we actually fleshed that out for this update. And so we wanted to play an important part of child development. And so basically, these books allow mortals of the appropriate skill level that's covered within their tier. So T1 will cover skills 0 through 4. T2 will cover 5 through 9. T3 10 through 14. And T4 15 through 19. So they'll allow them to study. So it's basically, you can think of it as like sort of an encyclopedia set, like everything that you would build in this skill range. And so they can come, and when they don't have active work to do, they can come and spend time here learning, and they gain XP, they gain skill. When they're a child, they gain potential in that skill, and so it gives you a way to kind of reliably earn XP around some of the skills that previously were difficult, like nursing. It's actually good if you don't need to treat people. But it means it's hard to develop your nurses previously. And now, if you write a nursing book set or buy one off of a merchant, you can put it in here. And so this is actually, this is an eclectic mix of books here. It's an incomplete set, and it's kind of actually difficult to end up with a whole set of tier 4 because it means you either found it on a trader. Or you had someone reach level 20. They have to be skill level 20 in order to author a tier 4 skill book. So you can author at kind of the next level up, basically. And so
Chris, just what you're saying is you can now basically trade for knowledge.
That's right, yeah. And you're kind of always, so that T4 guarding one or melee one there, I actually traded for that. I don't have anyone that's level 20 guarding, and I was like, oh, this is super valuable. And no one in my group is even skilled enough to read those yet, but it's like something to build towards, right? And what's cool is so gear buffs actually play into this as well. So if I was able to graft good enough gear to buff someone up to being in the 14 to 19 range, they'll be able to start studying that book set, and that will raise their actual underlying skill level. So I could put that gear on other people and raise everybody up collectively. Cool. And so then the other cool thing about it too is if the associated job has recipes associated with it, like the crafting one, they actually earn a bit in a bunch of the different recipes as well while they're studying this book set. And so it gives you a chance, as you're training your next crafter, if you zoom in on these, you'll see like this is a building one, which is perfect. If you zoom in, you'll see Chris has learned a lot of a bunch of different ones of these, and it's basically by studying those books. And so Zidane is a more skilled builder. So Zidane is actually doing the heavy lifting of building for the kingdom while Chris is running around and studying. And so, yeah, Chris is just spending his time running around studying books while he's developing.
Crib that we just... Oh, yeah, I think Zidane literally just learned how to make the wooden crib a moment ago when we clicked...
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see Chris has a little bit of progress in lots of them. It's because he's pouring over those books. He spent his whole childhood in there with building books. That was one of the first things I had Zidane do, because Zidane was a good builder. I had Zidane author a book set for Chris to study, and so Chris could spend his time learning that. So eventually, when Zidane passes on or whatever happens, Chris will be my builder and will take over.
That's cool.
And so where you author these, so if you go, I have another room that's like a crafty room. I think it's back behind you to the right.
Oh, over here?
Nope. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so that's the general room. So the lectern is actually in here. And so here is where you author the books. And so what's cool is anybody, so they're grayed out if I don't have anyone skilled enough to author those books yet. And then anybody that's assigned to that job that has reached that skill level will come in and author this as kind of a lower priority part of that job. And so, it's also a good way to earn kind of XP as part of that job as well. And so this, actually, if you want to hang out on that screen for 1 second, Matt, we actually expanded on this screen a little bit. So now that training is kind of a first-rate job, it has its own tab in here. So on the training tab, you can choose what percentage of their time they'll spend training each of the different jobs. You can leave this on autonomous as you want, and it'll auto-assign them to train the jobs that are most appropriate to them that they're assigned to out on the other screen. Zidane's not assigned to training because they've reached their peak.
Oh, right. Yep.
Already. And also, time limits is now a tab up top So previously this was a tab down bottom, and so here we show you how much time they've spent doing that job today, and then we set a natural time limit for them. Of course, you can turn autonomous off and set one of your own if you'd like. And then over on the assignment side, training is now an assignable job on the assignments tab. And by default, we set it lower priority than kind of, we try to make sure that you have a first priority and a second priority in all the different jobs. But if you just want to farm XP, set it to 1 for everybody. They'll spend all day reading, and you'll earn lots of XP, but you will not get a lot of other work done.
Let's see. We'll drive everybody to the library.
Yeah, let's go. Everybody's gonna start reading something that's relevant. Yeah, so there's also a time limit of 8 hours set in here, so they'll only spend 8 hours. But the other way that you have to manage this is if you go over to the schedule.
Schedule. Here we go.
So training, so I'm on autonomous, but if you uncheck autonomous, training is actually assignable in here. So you could set a training window. So, if you want to run class from 8 a.m. to noon, you could set training to be priority 1 for everybody, but they'll only do it when it's in that window or in any window. And so it's kind of up to you to kind of set the curriculum that you want.
That's cool.
And define it for everybody. So it has pretty good flexibility for you kind of optimizing around what your kingdom has. If you don't have a lot of building manpower, you probably can't afford to have Chris just reading books all day. But if you have Zidane, then you can afford that. So you'll set training to a higher priority for Chris, higher percentage of their time, in order to maximize them. And then being a human, Chris will actually catch up and pass Zidane along the way here.
Very cool.
And so this kingdom is different. So let's open the belief screen and see what they believe. So they're a different kingdom.
And this whole screen's new, right, for this update?
Yeah. So this came as a content update along the way to this feature update, but it's all new after the Dwarven domain. So if this is your first time playing since then, yeah, this is all new. Which is, by the way, this is also the most complicated screen we've ever built in the game, which is super fun to build. So on the left side, you have the principles, which we talked about before. So those kind of guide the beliefs of your kingdom and kind of set presets. So this kingdom is evil. They're cooktables. So they do eat mortal meat. But if you hover over cooktables on the left, I think it'll tell you. Oh, they must be cooked. They're not animals. And so, yeah, we like to eat people, but they have to be cooked. And then we like to smash things with hammers. But so that's just kind of, the high level set of your beliefs. But what's cool is you can get down in the nitty gritty and like really flesh it out. And so these blue bars are what everybody in your kingdom believes. For each of these things, and the brighter one is your ruler, and so you can kind of use that as a guiding light. So yeah, we said we believe hammers, or we want to smash with hammers, and so it's preset in here for everybody to like or love hammers. But you could actually come in here and click love only on that top level one. And it will drive everybody to love hammers. And so this will really drive synergy in your kingdom. And I tend to start with wide gaps in here. You could, if you don't want to get down into details in here, set some principles and let it cook. But you can also kind of raise the bar over time and or set it for specific people. So we said we're raising Chris to be our new builder. So let's go to jobs and look at building, and let's see what's Chris's opinion of building. He likes it. Let's go ahead and mark it for love. And so now we're going to have Chris love building. It looks like it's going to take an hour.
That's quick.
Yeah, that's pretty quick. And that's probably because, so that's based on our difficulty level will drive this, as well as Chris's adaptability, as well as the skill of our preachers, which is another new job. And so our preachers will walk around, and one of their jobs will be to convince Chris to like building. And what's cool is once they convince Chris of that, Chris will have higher esteem for our ruler if our ruler also likes building. And so if we set both of them to like building, that will also reinforce their relationship with our ruler. And then there's also a spot for a little exclamation point right next to that X if you want to like prioritize that. And so that'll push it to the front of the preaching queue.
And Chris, so like the preacher is a job, and a literal person is going to go
find
Chris and say,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see it happen. Yeah, so you may have made them prefer to train. We might have to go and clean up your schedule a little bit in order for them to go preach.
Okay, 1 second. Let me do that. It's was it my schedule or my? I think it was here that I needed. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, autofill.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'll just turn that on.
I think your schedule was also a little.
Oh, I cleared my schedule for you.
Oh, you cleared it. Good man. All right. So yeah, if you let time run, so looks like Kit is already preaching up top, and if you hover over the icon on Kit, he's preaching. Oh, he's preaching to Zidane about building. He's on his way to go and do it. And then if you hover over to Vanna's, he's probably preaching to Chris about building. And so yeah, she goes to work right away preaching to him about it. And what's cool is if you click on Chris and then go to his compatibility tab, down bottom we show how many preachings are remaining for him and how much time is left for them. And so building is in there with 1 hour left, and this is all of the total preachings that are queued up for him based on the beliefs of our kingdom.
And is
how much
building
time is
being
left.
preached over, let's say, raw orc because we just prioritized it?
That's right.
Cool.
Yeah, so usually this would go top to bottom in terms of implied priority. We're choosing not to like raw orc as part of being cooktables, and so normally they would be learning about that first or altering their opinions about that first, but building is going to happen first. But so this actually feeds back into the compatibility. So over time, if you set your beliefs and have someone assigned to preaching, your compatibility of everybody will raise up to high, and that means also that their esteem will be high. So if you hover over like Tavana's esteem bar up top, it'll show you, oh, they yodeled together. She loves them because they yodeled. Great. And he recognized her accomplishments, their partners. Zidane is evil. So that was something we preached. So we're preaching to have an evil kingdom, and so that will kind of raise this. So a lot of people, we kind of don't do a great job of guiding light sometimes towards the best way to manage your people's esteem. And really, if you find yourself having to talk to your people and tell them things over and over, really it means you should be going into the belief system and setting a belief that you want alignment around. Alignment is a good one. What you eat is a good one. Races are how you feel about the other races, and these can all be positive. They don't have to be negative. You don't have to be evil. You don't have to eat people. You can say, we don't like to eat people. All people are welcome here, and your people will come to like all those things together, and you'll get synergy in your kingdom, and everybody will be happy.
Very cool. One of my favorite things about this too is just the way you set it up, which is if you want to really engage with this stuff, you have a way to do it more than almost, any game made probably, but also you can just establish principles too, and it'll kind of autopilot based on the principles. So engage how much you want with it.
Yeah, and what's cool is you can actually, if you open the belief screen, you can even go a step further, and you can set autonomous down bottom, and you can just let your ruler decide. And so your ruler, we're evil, we're gonna drum out the dwarves, and we're gonna smash with the hammer. We hunt for food. So guess what? The ruler actually, Zidane didn't want to be a cooktable. He'd rather hunt. And so as you get new rulers, you're going to get new principles, which is actually a very interesting way to play, right? Like you kind of are backfeeding a little bit to what your ruler likes, and then the people are going to fall in line with your ruler, and then it kind of challenges you a little bit to adopt that play style. It'll challenge you to play a little bit differently.
That's very cool.
And yeah, so preaching is a process that will happen, to your kingdom. And click the visitors tab up top left. Let's see if we have anyone. So click one of those people, and then I want to see their compatibility tab. So we don't know much. We don't know much about Brynja yet. But if you see there down bottom, we see that it would take 61 hours to convert Brynja to our beliefs. And so this is based on what we know about her already, but also what we don't know about her already. And so if you want to know if you should recruit someone, generally speaking, their compatibility should be average or above. But also, it can be lower. Just know that it's going to take that much preaching in order to bring them in line. But when you do that, their compatibility will raise, and everybody will be happy.
Ooh, sorry, I came across this little scene right here.
Looks
like we had
they're eating the wolf!
Some cannibal wolves right here.
Oh my gosh. See, those are raw wolfable.
Chris, so kind of with the compatibility stuff and beliefs, basically what I'm hearing is if you encounter strangers and they have that high compatibility and you preach to them and make them even more compatible, they'll probably be easier to bring on board to your kingdom, right?
Yeah, very easy. Yeah, so they'll, and in fact, so everybody that's around your preacher is affected by their preaching, provided they're opted in. So, like, if you haven't chosen someone to be affected by building that's part of your kingdom, they won't be affected by it. Like, if it's contrary to your decision or what you've chosen for them. But otherwise, anybody around Tivana when she's preaching is going to hear about it.
I was just checking out
So
the family tree.
If you click, there's actually a new tab on the upper left as well. There's a preaching tab. It's like the 5th one down. Yeah, so this actually shows you over time everybody's opinion as it's being affected and changing, and your principle changes and everything that's going on in here. So if you want to see who all is actually, if we go over to where Tivana is preaching, we can actually see the effect of her preaching happening live on that screen. And yeah, it just happens over. Oh,
one thing I noticed that was cool here is this is when we changed our principles, and so it shifted all of the preachings that were happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it takes effect, and you can change. So again, choose your fate. So you can play a kingdom that starts off evil and becomes good. And what's cool is all the other kingdoms in your world hear about this by virtue of information sharing, and so wars will end, opinions will change. People will change their opinions of your kingdom, and yeah, you can turn heel or turn good or whatever you want to do.
Very cool.
And so I guess.
Oh no! I was just say, please keep going.
Should we look at the rest of the kids stuff?
Yeah. Let's see how Karen's doing.
Yeah, so if we fast forward, one of these two, Tivana or Karen, might go into labor.
All right, let's see what happens. We'll give a little zoom out in this world here.
We're in our forest here. We have a nice little river slash pond over there. So one thing that's interesting is that lifespan actually factors into the length of pregnancy and childhood. So Tivana, being an elf, her pregnancy takes twice as long. Her children take twice as long to grow up. So that's something to factor in kind of when you're making a decision about, what kind of kingdom you want to have and stuff, is how long you want to have to train your kids and bring them up and everything.
3 days remaining, so it'll be a little
How
while.
How long on Tivana's? 2 days?
Tivana's got 2 days remaining.
Let's, we can debug trigger one of these. So, monsters are attacking.
My God.
Buddy. All right, so keep them alive, Matt.
All right, let's see what I can do here. This is,
Oh, they broke in.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, it looks
yeah.
Like uh-oh. Okay, let's see what we can do. So, the nice thing is you built a base with some amount of defensive structures. I think I'm going to, let's see. We'll get a little combat lesson here. So everyone is going to get told to wake up, ring the alarm, and we're going to form up with our visitors over here because our best chance of survival. Oh no, Kit's already down. Oh no.
Oh, Kit. Well, it happened. That's okay. Kit's not important. Kit isn't the one of the two married couples.
Okay. So that imp is down.
Yeah. You'll be all right. Yeah. So it's so interesting having families and kids and everything now because it really factors into how risky I am with my defensive assignment. Oh, Ruby's in trouble.
And like if the baby was in the crib, I'd have to like probably not play quite how I am right here and keep someone in there, to keep them
that's
safe.
Right, 100%. Yeah.
I'm gonna do
yeah. So it's actually
here.
fortuitous that the baby wasn't born yet.
All right, let's talk from there. Dane. Wait. No. Actually, wait a second. This is my pregnant lady.
Did you enlist them?
Is it? Oh, she's not enlisted right now. Crap. Okay. That was my bad. Okay.
Okay, cool.
I don't know. I guess we'll keep fighting here. Okay.
Yeah, just be careful. Oh, rip. Good.
Tavana's actually pretty skilled, or I don't know. She's been getting some good kills in, so we'll keep.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the imps is they're actually individually quite weak, but they overwhelm you with their speed when they're grouped up, and that's what happened to Kit. Is there were like 6 of them attacking Kit, and like, what's Kit gonna do?
Right. All right. Yeah, we got this.
Okay, cool.
Let's see. All right, we're gonna. Oh, you know what? Everyone is also on the defend posture. I'm gonna switch them over to be a little bit more aggressive. Okay, is it just? Okay, we got 2. Almost done here. Almost done. We'll be back from killing to making more people instead shortly.
That's good. Yeah. I'm glad that we kept Karen and Savannah safe.
Yeah, sorry, Kit. So sorry. All right, Kyo's got this. This will be the final kill right here.
Imp is doing some remodeling.
Yeah, no kidding.
Maybe it'll be the final kill.
All right. There we go. Okay, great.
All right, yay! You did it.
Okay, so everybody's gonna be okay. And
wait, what is Karen and Chris doing? Little celebratory.
A little post victory celebration, it would seem here.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Listen. You know, your adrenaline gets pumping. You have a near-death experience, and it's time to make more people and repopulate the Earth. Noberia.
No Noberia. The I'll just for people watching this too. One thing I love about Noble Fates, and it's a really simple thing, but if your stuff gets destroyed, it remembers what was there, and your people will go and auto repair it. You can turn that. You can cancel it if you want, but it's just a nice quality of life thing that I really appreciate.
Yeah. So let's trigger labor for Karen.
Okay. Although I can't leave Kit here unburied. So let's Oh, well, they wouldn't have agreed for Kit yet, so sorry, never mind. Kit's gonna be... It's lucky that we're not cannibals anymore for Kit, we should say.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah, so you're saying, though, trigger Karen's birth. Or giving birth.
In the debug menu, characters, toggle debug, and then right-click on her and choose labor.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
Karen.
Karen is in labor. Okay, so I would pause. Okay, so she's in labor. Labor can last up to 24 hours. She has a status effect. If you hover over it up top, it's going to show you the likely outcome. So she has no mobility right now.
Yep.
She's in trouble. And so, by the way, these it's treatable, and these percentages are based on difficulty. So we're playing on hard right now. So hard challenges you to have skilled nurses, or you're going to, some of your children are not going to make it. And we don't, who is our best nurse? I think our best nurse is like a 6. So,
let's see. Nurse. Zidane. Okay.
Zidane, 6.
Oh yeah, sorry, 6, yep, okay.
Okay, so Zidane is the best nurse. So, there's 2 aspects to treating labor. So one is the pain. There's pain management, and then there's delivering the baby. So if you click on Karen and click on her vitals, so she's in a lot of pain right now.
Yep.
Labor. And so if you hover over the pregnancy status, so the health of the baby actually is going to decline because she is in pain right now. And she's suffering. And so anytime she's pregnant and she's suffering, the health of the baby will decline. And that's going to affect your chances of having a healthy baby at the end of pregnancy. So you need to treat her labor as well as soothe her pain. So it's really a 2-person job. So maybe Chris could soothe her while Zidane is treating her.
All right, Chris on soothe, Zidane on treat. Should we transport her somewhere first?
You could. I would treat the bed is important.
Okay.
All right,
All right,
Chris
I have
and
our crack trauma team.
All right. Do they have scrubs? Did they wash out? Oh no, there's blood everywhere.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's all right. Everything's okay. So if you hover over the labor status, you can actually see. Oh, she's unconscious now, which is good. That means she's in less pain.
Oh yeah, the prognosis is improving.
Yeah, so the prognosis is improving as the precision, which is based on Zidane's skill. If multiple nurses had treated her, the precision would be based on who did what percentage. Yeah, the chance of a healthy baby.
Oh, look at that. We're going up. Okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Everything is going to be good. I like that Tavana is preaching about gloves right now while this birth is happening.
Well, yeah, this birth can take a while. Oh, okay.
Oh, back in pain.
Okay.
So she needs more soothing.
All right,
so,
Chris, you're back on it. Soothe. Oh, this is a bad time to have a baby right after a major battle.
Now it's raining. At least she doesn't have an injury on top of the labor. Like that would be tough.
Let's see. Yeah, her needs. Yeah, her temperature is not doing super great right now, but okay. All right. It looks like it's flashing up there. 70% healthy baby.
Good. Come on. You can do it. You can do it, Karen.
Although, yeah, Karen's. I don't know if since we debugged, if the days remaining is. Oh.
Karen gave birth.
Oh.
Oh, Mickey
amongst the rubble.
Oh,
I zoomed in too much. There's Mickey.
Oh, look at Mickey.
A beautiful baby.
Oh, Chris and Karen are happy parents. So Mickey is their child. So if you click on Mickey, and then click on the family tree, so she joined the Quack Twig family, and she is Chris and Karen's offspring.
Awesome. And it'll be more obvious as Mickey grows, but like I can already tell Mickey kind of has Karen's eyes and a combination of their basically overall features right now.
Yeah, so what's cool is so they inherit a bit from both, and so when it comes time to roll each of the feature traits, the alignment, their preferences for kingdom size, their opinions about everything, we choose a dominant parent to pull from with each one, and so they're going to get a bit of each of the parents all the way down the tree.
Oh, and that. Mickey has been placed in a crib.
Oh, and Zidane's feeding her. So she's crying. Oh, soothing her. So yeah, so children are different. Babies and kids are different than adults. So you can see Mickey's bar up top is a different color, and that's because it's a mood bar. And so she doesn't have opinions about things. She's a little baby. And so all she knows is like what she feels at the moment. And so she has a simplified set of needs, and her mood is based on those needs. And so you really want to basically provide for her. So her temperature need isn't doing great right now. I think it's because the wall is broken down. So hopefully we get that. We get the wall fixed. And but this all has long-term consequences. So if you click on Mickey again and then go back to that need tab, so you can see that development bar is temperature's great now. So yeah, so development. So this is going to fill up as she ages, and so her progress is based on her age. Every 6 years, they'll go through a developmental maturity moment. And so she'll be a baby for 6 years, a child for 6 years, and then a juvenile for 6 years. And then during this period, she will accumulate development points. And so as she accumulates these development points, those are what you get to spend on traits when she reaches the next level of maturity. And so for a baby, it's purely based on mood. So all we have to do is just keep her happy, which generally speaking, if you have a roof over her head and her mother is around, they'll take care of feeding her, clean every once in a while. Good job. The visitor is helping. She'll be happy, and she'll just develop.
She's
Mickey's
so
quite
the producer of
Yeah, so babies have their own stats effect. So if you hover over her status effect, it'll tell you a little bit about babies. So they can only drink milk from their mother or from cows. Keep their mood high, and they'll develop development points from mood. Their nutrition need is twice as high. They poo much more often. Okay, so you got to clean up. You got to clean up after the baby. They need more sleep, and they have no mobility. They can't do anything. These babies, they don't do anything but lay in the crib. But the crib is important because the crib has a high. If you click on the crib, it has high sleep quality. Oh, it's actually on the breastfeed, not on here,
gotcha.
Unfortunately. But it has a high sleep quality, so it's gonna do. She'll sleep in normal beds too, but it's better if you have a crib, and the better crib you have is even better, and it's just gonna boost that mood. And the higher that mood is, if you go and click on her need tab again.
Let's see, needs. The babies.
Yeah.
Yes.
And hover over development. It'll show you the rate she's earning them at. So she's elated right now. So she's earning per hour. Like she's just going to be cranking out these points. And so generally speaking, as long as there's not like a dramatic event happening or whatever, as long as you've got someone prioritized on cleaning and nursing, you're going to be good, and they're going to get taken care of. The only other thing really worth noting here is if you hover over Mickey has another Karen has another stats effect now too. She has the lactation. Oh, two stats effects. The gave birth stats effect. So she's got a slight, she needs some time to recover from giving birth, but she also has the lactating stats effect, and so she'll be able to feed Mickey for the next 6 years of Mickey's life.
But so let's say Karen died and no one was lactating, what would you have to do to keep the baby alive?
Milk cows.
Gotcha.
You need cow milk. So you could tame a cow and ranch it, or trade for milk if you're really hard up. But those are the only things that babies can eat. And so, unfortunately, babies don't have teeth yet. No matter what their smile looks like, and so no matter what beliefs you choose, you can't. Yeah, dry bars not working for kids and so for babies. So, but let's jump forward a little bit. Let's load up the other save that I have.
All right, sounds good. I think we want to
Joy Truth, I think. Yeah, the Joy Tooth group.
Okay, Joy Tooth. Okay, sweet. Well, congratulations, Karen. You did it. You birthed.
Yeah, she did it. Karen, Chris.
The baby.
Yeah, it's a happy little family. And so Chris is our ward. If Zidane doesn't have a kid of his own, then Chris will end up being our ruler, and then Mickey. So the heir is the firstborn child. So we're in the laws of succession as they are right now in the world of Noberia is the firstborn child, and similarly when two mortals marry, the less prestigious mortal will marry into the family of the more prestigious mortal. So that's something to keep in mind when you're arranging marriages and
Gotcha.
and
So
having your children.
name isn't passed down via like gender; it's passed down via prestige.
That's exactly right. Yeah, exactly. It's based on the prestige at the time of the marriage, and so so you'll want to keep that in mind. So this family is a little bit further along. This is another of my test families, and so if you click on Ankle, the ruler, so Ankle's got a little bit of a family going. The Pike family. So Ankle and Slam. So this story is actually really interesting because if you click on Ankle and then click on the family tree. So they have a couple of kids, I think now. They have 3. So one passed away. They have one kid. They have one baby that passed away. The life, these are rough times. There are monsters. There are rabid animals. There are people that eat people.
Cannibals.
So so it's a rough time. So they have one kid who is a child and a baby that was just recently born. That's growing up. So let's talk about Tails. So if we go and find Tails, Tails is a child. Children are a little bit different. So Tails still has a mood bar. He has opinions. Is it a he or a she?
Let's find out.
Are they a he or a she?
Male.
Male. Okay, perfect. So he has a mood bar. So he hasn't formed opinions yet. Well, he has started to form opinions, but he's not driven by esteem yet. So he can't defect. He can't desert. Um, he's here whether he likes it or not. But he does have opinions. So like if you click on Tails, he started to form his own opinions. Most of these are inherited from his parents, some mix of his parents. Your preachers will start preaching to your children and converting them to whatever your kingdom believes. But if you go back over to their needs tab, they have an expanded set of needs. So they start caring about clothes. You need to deck them out with some clothing. They start caring about socialization and relaxation. I believe becomes more important at that point. And then they also have the development bar. So Tails has 40 points on there. If you hover over the development bar, you'll see they're earning from their mood. But then if we go hover on their status effect for children,
Status
on their vitals tab.
vitals.
Yeah, there's a different one for child. So they keep their mood high and make sure they can train to earn development points. So Tails doesn't earn development points via working, they earn it from training. And so this is where studying, it all ties back to studying. And so it's important to have books that's available for Tails to read and study. I don't think Tails has a bed, by the way. Tails is sleeping on the ground. But it's important to have books available. And so for children, it works a little bit differently. Whatever they are studying, they are going to, I think Skitter has passed out from drinking, is what Skitter is doing.
It happens.
But whatever they spend their time reading is actually going to build potential in those skills. So if you go over to the jobs tab for Tails and hover over one of the jobs, you'll see that there's potential below average. And for kids and for juveniles, you'll have a progress on there, too high, too average. Basically, a percentage of their experience that they earn is going to go towards raising their potential in those jobs. And so whatever you assign them to, if you want them to be a good builder, assign them to building, have them go and do building, they'll raise their potential and they'll develop.
So in Noble Fates, we now have the ability, I mean, not that kids existed before this, but you could also influence their opinion as well as potential. So you could be preaching and training them as well.
Yeah, that's cool. Right. So the best path, like you're going to recruit wanderers as always, but the best path really is going to be to grow some children. And you really end up on kind of, you saw in the last save, Chris was already like level 5 or something when he was like 20. Like you really can like rocket through the progression path and like end up with more skilled people that are ready for that next generation in your kingdom. And you can kind of optimize around the needs of your kingdom. Let's real quick assign Tails to go and study something. So you can micro studying. So if you go over to the books there in the next room over.
Oh yeah, great. Okay.
That one. Yeah, perfect. And just right click on something and have them go and study it.
All right, they're gonna study guardian.
Yeah, so they'll come over and study. So they're gonna do that until they fall asleep. So keep that in mind when you assign them to do that. I just want to show you on the jobs tab the guarding progressing while they're doing this. They're so
Is that
cute
book,
with the book.
Big enough for Tails though?
It's a story about their father Ankle and the Great War. I think it's their mother Ankle. But yeah, so if you hover over guarding, you're gonna see their 2 average number is going up, as well as their skill point progress is going up, maybe very, very, very slowly, if at all. And it's because when they're a child, almost all of their development is in potential and not in actual skill. When they become a juvenile, it flips around. And so we actually have a juvenile in this group. I think it's Skitter. So Skitter is a juvenile. So Skitter, when they become a juvenile, things change a little bit. So you can see Skitter has the normal esteem bar. So once they reach age 12, their esteem comes online. They can run away, they can desert, they can defect. They care about your ruler now, and so you need to work on keeping them happy. But they also start to earn much of their experience from work. And so if you go over to the, once again, the Vitals tab and hover, they also have a status effect. So keep their esteem high, make sure they can train, and give them some work to earn development points. And so basically you want to find a balance. So ideally for babies, you just meet their needs. For children, you balance 50-50. Half of their development points come from their mood, half come from training. And then for juveniles, it's 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So 1/3 comes from work, 1/3 comes from training, 1/3 comes from esteem if you're optimizing. And again, generally, this is really like if you want a micro, you can get down to this level. But honestly, you can just let Autonomous take care of it, and they'll read what you have, and they'll study what you have, and they'll end up pretty good. They'll end up pretty okay, and you'll be okay. But let's do maybe one last thing. So Skitter is actually... Skitter was born illegitimately. So Skitter's parents, I don't know if that's their mother or their father, Spitz.
Female.
So their mother is Spitz. So, and their brother, Oni, or sister, brother, is part of our kingdom as well. So what's so cool is you start getting family members that stop by. So Oni originally joined my kingdom, and then Skitter dropped by and I recruited them. Oh. And so you start filling in the ranks with family members. And so Oni, Skitter is illegitimate. So Skitter runs with the Bast surname through childhood because they're illegitimate. But when they become an adult, they're going to choose a name of their own. And so let's go ahead and speed that process up so we can see the maturity thing and then the as well as that.
All right, characters, toggle debug. And so, mature?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, someone is filling out their bed finally.
Yeah, so Skitter became an adult. Their appearance and stuff is mostly baked by the time they're juvenile. Like some things will kind of twiddle a little bit. If they're a dwarf, they'll get a beard when they become an adult, which is an important kind of milestone for them. But we can see that Skitter has a last name now. Skitter is part of the Fury family. And so Skitter actually started this family. So we wanted, illegitimacy is kind of like tough. That's a tough, when it comes to like carrying on family names and things like that. We wanted to have kind of a cool, interesting outcome for that in the world of Noberia and in the world of Noble Fates. And so they choose and start their own family. And so it's kind of a cool way to like start your own family up from nothing. And that's actually what the From Nothing origin story is about, is starting from no name at all and building up. And so, it kind of gives you that path. But then the other interesting thing that happens is down bottom right, you now have a notification that Skitter is an adult. And if you click on that, we get to spend all those hard-earned development points. So the other thing that we added as part of this update is traits. So all of the mortals can have traits now. And then if you're raising children, you get to choose what those traits are by spending the development points that you've earned. And so we have, I can't read how many we have. We have like 270, 170, however many we have. We can choose positive traits. And then there's a bunch of different categories. They affect their metabolism, sleep, work, learning rate. Some of these are OP. Adaptability will be how quickly they're affected by beliefs. Walking, how fast they walk around. So, if they're a crafter, maybe they don't need to walk. And you can choose like the negative one, like you could choose slow walker there. That will give you more development traits to spend on higher ones. So you can really kind of like min-max. Ambition, minimalist wants less things. Greedy wants more things. Bleeding, how quickly they bleed. How much they can carry, how often they carry during melee combat, whether they do back-to-back combo attacks, whether they want things more often. So the other one affected ambition. This one affects how much they want, how much they're affected by pain. And if you go all the way down to the bottom, most importantly, whether they're pooey or poo-lessy.
Oh, that's a good one.
Which, if you want to have a clean kingdom, then you're going to want some poo-lessy people. But yeah, so you get to pick all these traits. So it's important to note you get two, you get 3 of these milestones when they become a child when they become a juvenile, and when they become an adult. So you get 3 chances to spend. You can actually min-max and buy some when they become a child and then unbuy those when they become an adult. And so you can kind of really fine-tune this person and capitalize on who they've become. And we wanted this, this really ties back to the choose your fate kind of theme, and we wanted this to almost feel sort of like a creation moment. Like you get a little bit of the character creator as part of kind of your raising moment here.
Oh, and
so Matt,
I just am noticing now all the traits I'm picking are also showing up right down there.
yeah, exactly. Yep. And they'll, depending on what they are, they'll factor into all those stats, and you can hover over them and see what they are. And if you, whenever you're done here, so by the way, when they become an adult, this is your last chance. So make sure you spend as many points as you can while you're here.
All right. We want them. I actually want a very fast walker, so I'm gonna have to earn this. Aha, there we go.
And you'll always end up with a few scraps on the floor. It's okay if you don't spend them all.
Okay, there we go. And
close.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
All right, Skitter. I hope I made your choices good for your life.
Oh, hello.
Oh, we have a visitor. They've heard things.
Sure.
No, you may not stay. Sorry, goodbye.
No, get out of here. Then let's see, what was the last thing I've got? Oh, the interesting story about this kingdom. So my ruler, Ankle. So Ankle was here, and then Slam joined, and Slam married Ankle, and became her husband, and they became the patriarch and matriarch of this kingdom. And then at some point later, Slopper stopped by, and if you click on Slopper is actually Slam's mother. Look at the family tree. So I married Slam. Slam married. So that arrow means that Slam left this family. So if you click on him and then click again, he joined Ankle's family tree. And this is the family tree we're looking at before. If you click on him again, you'll go back to the other one. He was also illegitimate. So he originally joined the Whiny family, created the Whiny family. It was a good name to leave behind. But he was Slopper's illegitimate child, and Slopper just stopped by at some point, and I was like, yeah, of course.
And it's easier, I assume, to recruit Slopper because there's some relationship and commonality probably there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she will pick up on Slam's relationship with my ruler and the fact that my ruler likes Slam, and that makes it easier to recruit her, and she may just offer to join. So anyway, yeah, you get these stories, and your kingdom kind of builds up, and I have also found that I'm looking at the family trees of all the visitors when they come, and learning about the interconnected aspects of all these people. As well as raiders, which I started to feel bad about the raiders that are coming because they're from other kingdoms. They're from other families and stuff. They all have names.
I'm looking. We have a ton of visitors just out. Oh, this is cool. I haven't checked out your kingdom before, but you're building this bridge here.
Yeah, one of our long-term goals is to bridge the river, to make it easier for people to stop by.
Let's see.
Yeah, so Merit, not a great family. But if you go look at the world map, oh yeah, look at some of these. I think I let this one simulate 100 years. If you go look at the world map, you'll see some kingdoms that have been around for a while.
Right, because the world map is running still.
That's right. Yeah, this all runs in the background. So we don't show the parties out here. Tactically, I think it's more interesting if you don't have access to the parties. But yeah, this is a subset. That whole world sim is running while you're playing, and this view that you have is a subset of that world. And so if you click on one of these rulers, you can look at their family tree. And so, yeah, June was illegitimate, but started the Tanlo family. If you click on June and then click on them again, you'll go to where they came from. So their parents were Boo and Nori. And yeah, so it just carries on and on and on and on, and you learn more and more about these people, and I love it. And then the other cool thing that's added here, so that information in the upper right, previously, if you clicked on one of those and someone wasn't on the map, it wouldn't go anywhere. But now if they're not on the map, click on the name, click on Liam. You'll go to where they are, but click on one of the ones where someone was killed, click on the victim. So yeah, so they're not on the map anymore. So you go to their family tree instead, and so you can kind of really see. You can start to put more of a story to these people that inhabit your world.
Look at all these deaths. Ooh.
Yeah, it happens.
It's
over time. There's a lot of them. Many.
So many dead.
many. Listen, there's all these wars going on. People are fighting about eating things and eating mortals, and yeah. One last thing to do, I think, that's kind of cool is if you click on who is our child Tails, I think. So click on Tails, and let's open up the appearance editor. So one thing I'd love is that yeah, look at Tails. Open up the appearance editor. And so if you randomize in here, it randomizes taking into account their genetics from their parents. And so you're going to get different appearances based on their parents. And so this kind of gives you a preview of what different children for those two parents. So that was the same hairstyle as his grandmother. And so it just kind of carries through. And so you can the more you randomize in here, the more you see what you're doing. Yeah, that's that hairstyle that came from his dad and his grandmother. And so yeah, you'll see a preview of all the different kind of characters you'll get. So if you don't get one that you like, you can come in here and randomize a few times and get a kid that you like.
Let's see. Let's get that nose.
Yeah, we gotta straighten out that nose. But yeah, so I think is that the Choose Your Fate update?
I think there's one more thing, which is Ascension.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things. Yeah, so there is Ascension now. So we showed you the living world. We started on the living world. We're in here playing. I've got this kingdom is probably 10 hours in or something. There's now this thing called Ascension. And basically, we wanted to give you kind of a bookend moment, for this kingdom. And what it means is you can ascend from this kingdom and your construct can return to the living world, can return to the heavens and observe the living world and choose who your next group is. And there's a couple of ways to do it. I don't want to give them all away right here, but basically a couple of the easy ones are if you finish the guided experience or if you fend off a conquest. Those are two of the main ways. Another is if your ruler passes away and a succession kicks in, we offer you the opportunity to ascend then, because we think, maybe if you don't have a good heir or you're not happy with the kingdom or you're just ready to do something new, it's kind of a good check-in point. And so maybe it's time for Ankle to meet their demise.
Oh, Ankle. Boar hunting accident, I hear. Actually, I'm curious. Equipping wooden arrows. Okay. Yeah, Ankle, why don't you, uh-oh, I hope you don't fall down this hill right here. Oh no, Ankle, you're, goodbye, Ankle.
Oh, she tripped over a rock.
Oh.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Well, the cuter Ankle died.
I guess I could have just assassinated Ankle too, but that was easy.
Oh, gosh.
Poor Ankle.
I like that Augur doesn't care. He's just carrying that deer away. It's listen, these things happen. All right, so if everything is working correctly, yeah, Tails takes over. So Tails is the child.
Oh yeah, right.
Of our ruler. Yeah. So so here's your chance to ascend. So you don't have to decide right now. You could say not yet, or you could say a hard no if you want. But I would say not yet. So Tails took over. Tails is the ruler now. So we have a child ruler, which is so interesting. So everybody's going to have esteem towards Tails now. And so all the relationships and everything are based on Tails. This is our ruler that we created. And so if you keep a clean line of hereditary, if you keep a clean family tree going, then you get to control who your ruler is, which I think is so interesting.
Sorry, I just thought that sword looked good. Tails is now, let's see. Tails is... Do we have a title yet for Tails as the ruler?
You do, yeah. It's right under the family name there.
Elder, okay, cool.
Yeah, so Tails is the elder. So if you go out to the world map, you'll see that Tails is now our ruler out here on the world map.
Ah, yes.
And we're all rallied around Tails.
Scary adult.
Yeah, which is crazy. So, by the way, babies cannot be the ruler because so many things are like centered on your ruler acting and doing things and stuff. We were like, okay, babies, not babies. So, it's if your heir is a baby, wait, please keep your ruler safe until they are not a baby anymore. Otherwise, it's going to pass to someone else. Okay, and let's ascend.
All right, let's do it. How do we do that?
Right. So if we say not yet, it's going to go down in the bottom right. So we have that ascend question hanging out down there. So it's going to hang out down there for 24 hours. And so anytime we want here, we can click ascend and say yes.
All right.
A little warning, we don't get to come back here. Fade to white. And we're out on the living world. And look at Tails is running that little kingdom. So wait, let's fast forward. Yeah, look at Kingdom Go. So Tails is living. People are coming. People are joining that kingdom.
And so are we going to see Tails just became an adult. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think, is he an adult now or a juvenile? I think he is a juvenile.
Oh, sorry, juvenile.
Yeah, so he's growing up. Oh, the kingdom's shrinking.
Oh, uh-oh.
But yeah, I love this. Like,
you
get to come out. You get to see, like, them grow, the kingdom go through the ages. Click on Tails. Tails is an adult now.
24 years old.
Did he marry? Did he marry? Look at his
see.
family tree.
Nope.
Oh, grew up as well.
Oh, yeah, good.
Oh, Slam passed away.
Ankle's still bloody here. They never never buried him.
Yeah, that's right. And then let's let it run for a little bit. And I think this is a great place to end.
Yeah. And so, Chris, one last thing is, let's say we started a new kingdom. We could run into and potentially fight or recruit people from our previous kingdom if we encounter them.
Yeah, that's right. Here, pause real quick and hover over Tails. So Tails got to choose their own. Tails got to choose their own principles. So they're good. An orc tribe, they hunt. They wield the sword. So some of those are maybe a little different. So they're good. So let's say as like a as a nice different play style. Let's zoom out and let's look at the origins that are available to us. Do we have any right now?
Oh, here we go. V.
V. Yeah, perfect. Oh, and they're evil. Perfect. Yeah. So choose them. So V settlers, and then over on the left there, enemy. Choose that little box there. So what was the name of our kingdom?
Oh no, I forgot. Here.
Hover over it, and it'll tell you who the ruler is. Amy, not Amy. Tobias, Alifa, Ramar.
There we go. Plague choppers.
There it is. There you go. Choose them. All right. So now our old kingdom is going to play the role of being our enemy and our rival, and eventually will try to conquer us, which is so interesting. We get to carry on in the same world.
And so,
choose your fate.
If let's say Tails and crew came to attack us, I could theoretically like knock them out, capture them as a sorry, what do we call a serf, and then eventually
you can have them as a prisoner, and then make them obedient, get them to be obedient, have them become a serf, use the new belief system to convert them to your way of believing, bring their family in, carry them into your new story.
Amazing. That's so cool.
It's so good. It's so cool. Yeah. So it's, we're obviously, so this is our 6th major update out of 8. We're about 3/4 of the way now through feature development. There's more to do, and I really like to think that now that we're adding on kind of some of these, like, we're now getting to add on some of the icing on the cake, I think, feature-wise. Like, now we're getting to add some of the really cool stuff that really kind of make Noble Faith unique and kind of, rightfully put it in its place of being somewhere between, like, the deep sim and the kind of moment-to-moment just kingdom builder. So
awesome. Well, I feel like we showed off some really cool stuff, and we are very excited for anyone watching this to give it a try. It is an amazing game, and we hope that you love it.
Yeah, thanks everybody, and we really hope you enjoy the update and have fun choosing your fate.
All right, see you everybody.
Bye.